All right, everyone, let's get this user webinar started. Once again, good evening from Germany. Welcome to our 8th user webinar. Today we have a little Christmas surprise for you, the custom fields, our latest feature, which is going to release to everyone by next week. But we thought it makes sense to already give you a forecast on what you can expect from the custom fields and how it can benefit your analyses. Once again, the webinar is going to be recorded. So for all the ones who missed it, no worries about this. We are going to prepare a link later on for you where you can download the recording or have a look at the recording alongside with an handout. All right. Just a quick introduction of ourselves. My name is Andreas Lübbering. You probably already know me from a few user webinars. I'm Senior Customer Success Manager at PatentSight's. So mine and my colleagues' main responsibility is making you successful with the software. That's why we also introduce these kind of webinars for you. I got support on my side, Marilla Obcharski, who's also Customer Success Manager at PatentSight. She will give you the general introduction, and then I'll do the demo in the BI.
Right.
Okay. Then I would hand over to Marilla, really firm in the custom fields. Already looks a little bit like Christmas here. This is our topic today, and the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Andreas. Hello, everyone. This is Marilla from PatentSight. Today, I will give you a short introduction to custom fields. What looks like a slightly premature Christmas card is actually the first slide thereof and should give you a little sneak peek of an image what custom fields are, but we will cover that in a little bit more detail now. So let's get started. What are custom fields? Well, first of all, this newly developed feature of ours basically allows you to map various kinds of information to patents. Now let's imagine you have a list of patent families, which are either patent families from your own organization or another organization, and you also have some sort of information you would like to map to these patent families. So, for example, you could have internal technology related information. In this example, we have MRI technology, electrotherapy, surgical instruments. So each of these patent families here, it's a mere example, but each of these belongs to one of these internal technologies. And if we move on further to the right, we can see there's also something like, for example, an internal valuation. So within this organization, there is some valuation going on, and each of these patents gets some sort of score here. Now, what we can do now with PatentSight is literally import that as it is and map it to patents. And what we might end up with is an unlimited amount of various kinds of information mapped to patent families. Now, those of you who are already using PatentSight might already be familiar with tags. And you might ask yourself, okay, so what's different here? What's the difference between these custom fields and tags? So let's get into a little bit of details here, because custom fields offer quite a number of advantages over tags. The first is that you can import numeric values. And by numeric values, I do not mean simply a number that will be used like a name of a tag. No, you can import numbers and use them actually in charts and in tables along with PatentSight indicators or without PatentSight indicators. So you can really draw your charts using your own numeric values thanks to custom fields. Next, custom fields are much easier to manage than tags. So your own internal information within the PatentSight BI is much easier to manage in DBI. And finally, there is no need to use any hashtags or backslashes in your Excel files. So you can just take your information as it is and you can just import it. So as you might know, when you try to make a tag, you need to use this hashtag. If you want to make a folder structure, you would have to work with backslashes. This is no longer necessary when you're working with custom fields. But first things first, let me explain about different types of custom fields. Because if you have different types of information, obviously there should be some kind of categorization in the custom fields as well. So first of all, we have a differentiation between text custom fields for text information, obviously, numeric custom fields for if you want to import some numbers, and also we have special default kind of custom fields, which is nodes. And this is, well, we can imagine that as a commentary box that will pop up in the result list later on. Further on, we also differentiate between so-called single value and multiple value custom fields. Let me briefly explain what the difference here is. So depending on your use case, you might want to create either a single value or a multiple value custom fields. When you're working with, for example, the simple patent family definition as it is in PatentSight, you might, for instance, have exported a table of patents from PatentSight and want to map information to these patent families there. And if you only want to map one numeric value or only one text value per custom field to one patent family, then the single value custom fields are the type of custom fields to go with. One example would be, we have here 3 patent families, patent family P1, P2, and P3. Each of these patent families belongs to exactly one kind of internal technology, no more than that, and gets exactly 1 score in this internal evaluation here. So this could be the 2 single value custom fields, internal technology and internal valuation. So the first one would be a single value text custom field, and the second would be a single value numeric custom fields. Now, we also have multiple value custom fields. You might want to use these if you are working, for example, on document level. So if you have a list with patent documents, and you are not working on the simple patent family level, or you might have a completely different family definition than that of PatentSight, then multiple value custom fields might be the way to go here. And the most important thing about multiple value custom fields is that they serve to map one or more numeric or text values per custom field to the same document or patent family, actually. One example would be here. We are looking at exactly the same patent family P1, right? In each of these rows we see here we have P1, P1, and P1 again. And P1 belongs to 3 internal sub-technologies. It belongs to MRI technology A, B, and C. And furthermore, we make a subdivision into the documents of P1. So we might have a document 1, a document 3, a document 4, etc. And each of these documents might be associated with a certain licensing income. Here are just examples of how much these bring. And yeah, so you would get basically, in this case, 3 values which would be mapped to the same patent family within the same custom field. And what we would create here would be, for the internal sub-technology, would be a multiple value text custom field. For the licensing income, it would be a multiple value numeric custom field. However, as you know, the PatentSight BI has the simple patent family as its smallest unit of analysis. So if we have more than one numeric value mapped to the same patent family, something needs to be done here. And this something is called aggregation. And I think this is the trickiest part about custom fields. So I will go into a little bit more detail here. It's the aggregation of values in multiple value numeric custom fields. So let's imagine we have here two patent families, P1. We're looking at them at document level. P1, P2, each of these has one document each, D1 and D2. And to each of these documents, one specific value is mapped, right? So we have value of 2 mapped to document 1. We have a value of 0 mapped to document 2 in the first patent family. We have the value of 4 mapped to document 1 in the second patent family, and a value of 3 mapped to document 2 in the second patent family. Now, when we import that and move into the PatentSight BI, we move from document level to patent family level. So as we can see, each of these patent families has 2 values in it. So something needs to be done here. Now, if we perform analysis with that, we might not necessarily work on patent family level, but we might work on portfolio level. So we might take a look at an owner, who has a portfolio, in this case, an owner with only 2 patent families in this example. But in this case, we would have these 2 patent families with 2 values each, meaning when we look at the entire portfolio, we would have 4 values. And again, well, if we want to present that in a chart or in a table, something needs to happen with these 4 values. And in order to solve this problem, PatentSight offers aggregation options. So the user, when using custom fields, when creating custom fields and working with them later on in the BI, may choose between several aggregation options. So the user might choose to use the average, the sum, the minimum, the maximum, or sometimes also a list. With this concrete example, we might take another look at it. So here, again, we take a look at the document level of our 2 patent families and the 4 documents. If we aggregate that within on patent family level, we might, for example, use the sum. So the PatentSight BI would sum up these values which have been mapped to the single documents to get to the patent family level. This would happen when we import our custom fields. Of course, the sum is only an example. You can choose whatever aggregation option you would like to use, depending on your use case. And then next, as we move on to portfolio level, another aggregation takes place. In this example, we have used the average, but the user, of course, can decide to use any aggregation option he or she wants to use. Now, I think this is pretty much the trickiest part about custom fields, but it's much more user-friendly to use it actually in the PatentSight BI than to see it here on the PowerPoint slides. And as soon as you start using custom fields, you have a lot of new possibilities within the PatentSight BI. And one example would be you could end up even with negative values. So this is something, a bar chart you could actually now draw in the PatentSight BI. So what we know is competitive impact here presented in, well, looks like something between orange and red. These would be the bars that you can already produce with the PatentSight BI as it is. Now with custom fields, you could also import something like a win and loss indicator. And the numeric values you import do not necessarily have to be positive values. You could even use negative values. So it's a very flexible tool. And also, instead of using tags, here we have product A, B, and C. You could simply use custom fields and slice and dice your custom fields and your values in your charts according to your needs. Now, there's, however, regarding custom fields, one thing the user needs to be aware of, and this is the use of custom fields and the reporting date concept, or actually any date you might want to map custom fields to. So when we speak of custom fields, we might imagine that it could be possible to map a number of dates and a number of values to each other in order to present something as well as some kind of development over time. So one might imagine that, right, we could just use these multiple value custom fields, map 3 dates to the same patent family, and map 3 values to the same patent family, just go in a row, import that, and I could present something as a time development. Unfortunately, this doesn't work. So this is something we would like to make you aware of. Custom fields are imported in columns and not in rows. So if values are mapped to patent families, the connection is between the custom field and the patent family and not between custom field and custom field. So if we look at the first date, the 31st of December 2016, and the value 452, there is just no connection between these two pieces of information. So when working with custom fields, please bear that in mind. This is all from my side. Next, my colleague Andreas will give you an intro to using custom fields in our PatentSight BI.
Yep. Like maybe one step back. In essence, that means you cannot use the custom field with a reporting date. So you have one numeric number per patent family. All right, let's go to the software and look at one specific use case because we calculate the quality and the strength of a patent or a patent portfolio based on the technology relevance, citation-based indicator, but also on the market coverage. The market coverage is based on the GNI of the patents. So we look at all the patents, all the documents or all the countries a patent family is active in, sum up their GNIs and benchmark this to the GNI of the United States of America. Of course, we face some skepticism here that this does not reflect how you or some of our customers value or think about the importance of their markets. That's why we, PatentSight, together with Siemens, did a presentation at the IP Service World, I think that was 2 or 3 weeks ago, where we showed the result of the calculation of an alternative market coverage. And for this, first of all, you have to calculate alternative market coverage for each and every patent we were looking at, or patent family we were looking at. And then, of course, you have to upload this numerical data into our database, into PatentSight. And this we take as quite up-to-date use case to show you the benefits of the custom fields. So quickly, let me go to our software. There we go. This is webinar. All right. So you already know our software, but we have to start with the Excel file. So basically, what I did is we defined a specific technology field for which we wanted to calculate the alternative market coverage, because this one, like in this specific technology field, Siemens faced a lot of skepticism that the GNI approach does not really reflect the true importance of the markets. So what we did is we looked at some players in that field and draw or retrieved all their documents from our BI. So in total, we looked at over 30,000 documents. For each and every document, we had a look in which jurisdictions they are filed, they are pending. Also, we differentiated between pending patents and enforced patent. And based on this, so I just retrieved it from our database and had a look where they enforce and just had a look for this at the specific markets we were interested in. And whenever it was enforced somewhere or pending somewhere, we see a 1. If not, we see a 0. And then, based on market data we were provided with from Siemens for this technology field, we calculated an alternative market coverage. And this alternative market coverage we took to our BI. So let me just go here. Here we have the custom fields. So we have the patent families here. This is what we finally import to our software. We have the patent family here. We have the owner here, anonymized. So Siemens, of course, didn't want to show which companies they were looking at because this would retrace the technology field they're interested in. Also, I just attached this for today. To give a better idea about the custom fields, I also attached a custom field called technology. So each and every patent is in a specific technology. And here we have the numerical data, alternative market coverage, and also the alternative competitive impact, which is basically the alternative market coverage multiplied by the technology relevance of this patent. All right, so I take all of this data now and copy this. So, oops, works basically the same as with text. Besides, I don't have to use these kinds of backslashes and hashtags, so it makes everything a little bit easier. So I copy everything, then I go to our system up here to import. So it's kind of the same path as with text import. And then I have here the option, you will see that from next week on, hopefully, import data to custom field. And I simply paste everything here. And then the system will load. Keep in mind that we're talking about more than 30,000 patent families and also 4 additional rows we're trying to import here. So it is definitely quite a bit of data, but once again, you see our performance. I would say the performance of the custom fields are even better than with the text. You see how fast all of this goes. You can also edit the matching, which you already know from the tagging. And now you can assign custom fields to your patent families. The first one here would be the owner, the anonymized owner. So I simply click up here. When I already created a new custom field, I can select this here, but I have to create a new custom field now. It will be the owner anonymized. It will be a text custom field. And also I have to use multiple values because some of these patents are owned by multiple or by two or three owners. And I want to attach both information about both owners to the custom field. So we have to use multiple custom field. But actually pretty straightforward, I would say. If you use single custom field, the documents or the patent numbers which are double within your list will be marked red, and then you can check. So I'll confirm here. There we go. Also, when this custom field already existed, I can choose if I want to add this to the existing data or overwrite the data, which will happen if I do not click this checkbox. The next custom field would be the technology field. Once again, text, multiple value, pretty straightforward. Also, if I made a mistake here, I can simply click here to administrate my custom fields. And then here I can edit the data, delete the custom field, change the name of the custom field. Also, you can access this via the options here I'm going to show you later on. Alternative market coverage. Once again, create new custom field, alternative market coverage. This time it's a numerical value. Once again, it's multiple value, confirm. There we go. And now I insert the last custom field, which would be the alternative competitive impact. Once again, it's numeric. And once again, it's a multiple value custom field because we have co-ownership in here. So what we're going to do later on is compare the alternative market coverage to the original market coverage. We compare the alternative CI to the original competitive impact, but we also want to compare the alternative patent asset index to the original patent asset index. And as you know, the patent asset index is basically the sum of competitive impacts. So what we have to do to calculate the alternative patent asset index is simply take the sum of the alternative competitive impact. On a family level, especially for these co-owned patents, we don't want to see the sum. We want to see the average of these custom fields within a patent family. So what I do here is I go to advanced settings, and by default, the aggregation of the custom fields across the families, like on an owner level, is going to be the same as within the within the patent family. But I want to make sure that it's taking always the average within the patent family. So what I do is I click here, allow different aggregation method within the families and across families, and I select average on the patent family level. I confirm here. Now I have the alternative competitive impact here, and now I confirm everything, and hopefully the matching will work. I know this with the, I think Marilla already explained it quite nicely with the double aggregation or the two-step aggregation we have to do first on a patent family level, then across families. I know it can be a little bit tricky, but before we go on, I want to point out that we once again have a step-by-step guide for the custom fields, actually done by Marilla, and also this will lead you step-by-step to the most important features and functionalities of the custom fields. So highly recommend having a look there. Of course, you are also allowed and welcome to reach out to your customer success manager if you have any questions here. All right, so now we imported everything. We can administrate our custom fields if we go to actions and here, administrate custom fields. I can delete the custom fields rewrite. I already talked about this. So now let's have a look at some use cases and the advantages of the custom fields. So first of all, I can use it as a filter element, specific to look for specific filters. So I'll go to plus here, and here you will see a new category which is called custom fields. And within custom fields, I have, for example, the owner. And you see now, I get a drill down. So remember, this is one big advantage in regards to the tags. When you use this filter element, you will see all the tags. Now you will only see the companies which are within this custom field owner anonymized. And now you can select, for example, the last company or the companies you want to see. I'm going to do this for this one here. I select this here, refresh. So this is the first big advantage. The second big advantage is to use these custom fields as a measure, and you will only see the entries within this custom field. I prepared, wait a second, I have to switch between the accounts. Yep, once again, I have to upload the custom field, company N. There we go. Already prepared a template for this one. By the way, here we have the template for the alternative market coverage, but now we go on to this custom field patent list to explain this one. So here we have our basic patent list for all these patents owned by this company. We have patent family filing here and so on. And now I want to use a custom field as a measure. So I simply, once again, usually I'm too quick here. I go to the gear wheel, select a new measure and say, okay, I want to see the technology here. And this is also a big advantage of the custom fields. So you remember working with tag and using the measure tag will give you all tags which belong to this patent family. So you see a whole bunch of tags you're actually not interested in because you're actually only interested in the technology. And with this custom field, you kind of have a tag category and you will only see the technologies you're interested in. So this is the one big advantage. The other big advantage is you can also use the custom fields as a grouping. So what I'm going to do, I open a new sheet and I'm going to select maybe these companies here. I as well. Yep, there we go. Refresh. Templates. And use the custom fields as a grouping. So on the Y, this is our matrix chart, which I really like. On the Y-axis, we have the companies, and on the X-axis, we have the technology field these patents are active in, and we see how many. So, for example, this company J has 100 patents in G01R. The thing is, sometimes you wanna take or see the overlap between tags, which is not possible the way, or like quite difficult possible the way we have it at the moment, because you can have tag here and you can't have tag here. This is simply, our SQL database simply doesn't work like this. This is impossible. But with the custom fields, you can now have a custom field here and a custom field on the x-axis. So you can see the overlap between custom fields, for example, different technologies and different technologies here. Also, you can, for example, see the overlap between the owner and the technologies. So I simply click on CPC here for the moment, go to more, custom fields, and I select technology. There we go. And now I see in which kind of technology fields these companies have their asset, most of their asset. So for example, K, mostly in technology A, company J is quite evenly distributed in C, B, and D. So this gives you a whole new dimension of flexibility within the tool. All right, so now let's talk about the big advantage of the custom fields, which are numerical data. So you can now upload numerical data and, for example, compare these measures to our original measures. So compare the alternative market coverage to our original measures. So I open a new sheet here, template. I already created templates for this. You can also create these charts from scratch if you want to. So here we have the alternative market coverage. So here we have just the market coverage. And what I'm going to do now is go to the gear wheel and insert via the custom fields here. I will insert my alternative market coverage, and I want to see the average for each company here. So wait a second, I'll have to show this again. Custom field. So when I click on a numerical custom field, the system asks me what should be the aggregation across families. For example, over a portfolio should be, do I want to see the average? Do I want to see the sum, max, min? And I can choose here. And in this case, I want to see the average per company for the alternative market coverage. Once again, I can have a look here at the further details, how the aggregation is done on the family level. And then, of course, I can go click here and edit the custom field to my wishes. So there we go. We can have a look at this, and we see that the alternative market coverage, which is blue, is actually quite close to our original market coverage. So it seems like we're not missing too much information using this simple approach with the gross national income, at least in this technology field. The same accounts for the competitive impact, which I'm going to skip now, but I want to show you one other nice visualization. Here we go, quality versus quantity. So this is our famous quality versus quantity bubble chart. Portfolio size here, competitive impact here. But now I want to see the effect of the alternative market coverage on the strategic position of these companies. So what I'm going to do, I simply copy this widget here using Control-C and Control-V on my keyboard. And then I will, on the y-axis, here on the y-axis, I will have the alternative competitive impact. And of course, I want to see the average of the alternative competitive impact. There we go. And for the bubble area, I don't want to see the patent asset index. I want to see the alternative patent asset index, which is basically the sum of the alternative competitive impacts. So I go to bubble area here, go to more, custom field. I choose alternative competitive impact, alternative competitive impact. And instead of using the average, of course, I want to see the sum here. I confirm, then the system loads, and now I can have a look at the differences between these companies. So I don't see too much here. For example, here I see a slight difference between company L and company M. Also, everything is a little bit further down, the average quality. This is simply because we took less countries into account. But when you look at this, you see that like the strategic assumptions you draw out of PatentSight do not change a lot. So in this case, in this technology field, it works quite well, the approach with the GNI. However, you're more than welcome to, of course, try this in your specific technology fields as well. And we can support you with that as well. So now I can once again use the advantages of our tool, drill down into the data, and let's and have a look how the custom field of notes work. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to drill down in company I here and go to the result list. And all the way down here, we have the custom fields. So you can have a look at the custom fields and also change them there. At the moment, you don't see any custom field here. This is because you first have to make them one of your favorites. So I click here on Administrate Custom Fields and say, okay, I want to see the competitive impact and I want to see the alternative market coverage. And also I can adjust this here. So I can say, okay, this is not how I value this. I want to make this a 10, for example. Also, I can add data if I want to. All of this is possible. Maybe let's have a closer look at the nodes custom field, which I really like. Here you can, this is something you kind of can use as a chat box. For example, we have customers who are using PatentSight for their internal valuation cycle of patents. So the patent department does monitoring, has a big a load of patents. They have a look at, they categorize them, and then they send some to their developers or other departments, and they're supposed to review them, give them an internal evaluation. And this is what you can do here quite easily and quite nicely. Also can use this kind of a chat box. So for example, you could go through this list here and say, for example, this patent is supposed to be reviewed. I'll copy this quickly. This patent is also supposed to be renewed. I'll go a little bit further down. This patent here is supposed to renew. Sorry, not renewed, but reviewed as well. And also we can add other information here if you're interested in this. And now I can search for these notes within my. So I can send a workbook to someone, and this person can search for these notes. Simply go to custom fields here, select notes, and then here we have all these kinds of notes we already uploaded to our system. So here we have our review. You can also add licensing potential, infringement risk. Here I think I made a mistake having a space in the custom field notes to be reviewed by business unit A, business unit C, and now I can select this, send this to someone else. This person can have a look at this patent and then, for example, give a note here as well, what he thinks about the patent. All right, 40 minutes through. I think this is everything to say about the custom fields. You see it provides a whole new dimension of flexibility to PatentSight. You have the step-by-step guide. We're happy to support you if you have any questions. And now it's time to, let me just check one thing. Now it's time to in case I don't talk to you guys anymore, to wish you happy Christmas, a good start into the new year, and really looking forward to talk to you in the next webinar. Let me just have a look here. So next webinar is going to be is planned to be portfolio management and M&A, and looking forward to have you on this webinar once again. Any last remarks?
Thank you very much for joining us today. Have a lovely day.
Yes, take care. All the best.
All the best.